All right, this webinar is being recorded. Welcome everyone to our preschool virtual open house. We are so excited this Tuesday. We had a lot of fun today on Tuesday, 2/22/22, to welcome you to your future here at the ECC. So thank you for those who are here today. We're going to go over what is happening this evening, but we want to start with a quote. This is a Reggio-inspired quote that says, "Stand aside for a while and leave room for learning. Observe carefully what children do. And then, if you have understood well, perhaps teaching will be different from before." This is Malaguzzi, who is our Reggio king, the Lord of bringing Reggio-inspired practices to our school at the ECC. And the people that you see on your screen as panelists are the people that do this each and every day. So I am new to the ECC this year, but I have seen a very different way of teaching and learning at the ECC. And that is because of these observers, these facilitators of learning that you see on your screen before you. We are going to have a welcome. So I will introduce everyone who is on the screen today. Then we will kick off with a welcome video of the preschool. We'll get into our flow of the day, what a Reggio-inspired work looks like at the ECC, and then we hear the most precious little voices that were recorded by our teachers of what our kids love about the ECC. Then our assistant principal, Ms. Cobb, will take us through next steps for preschool registration, and we'll have several minutes for a Q&A here at the end as well. So I want to kick us off with who I see on the screen, and I'll kind of go through Brady Bunch style just to introduce everyone. So my name is Dr. Jill Loyat. I'm the new principal this year of the ECC. It's been a great journey getting to know specifically these folks that run such a great preschool program. Then we have Ms. Cynthia Cobb, who is the assistant principal, and she is over ECC and preschool alongside me. We have Stacy Schwab, one of our preschool teachers. Kayleen Portel, she is our social worker at the ECC. We have Carter Bacula, she is a preschool teacher. Mark Bishop, preschool teacher. Betty Pearson, preschool teacher. Liz Leach, preschool teacher. Sarah Hilton, preschool teacher. Cloris King, alongside Becky Hibbets, who are our First Friends teachers. That's who our 2-year-olds come to that programming. Annette, preschool teacher, Annette Hopkins. Lena Joyce, preschool teacher. Brandon McClure, preschool teacher. Katie Nauman, preschool teacher. And Brenda Engelhart, preschool teacher. Am I missing anyone, Ms. Cobb? Anyone that we haven't promoted from possibly an attendee to a panelist?
It doesn't look like it.
Perfect. Well, thank you again for being here. We're going to jump in with a welcome video. I do want to preface this all by saying this team has been behind the scenes putting together this orientation for you all. So you're going to hear the preschool teachers' voices. You're going to see pictures that they have put together. And you'll also see just the amount of expertise and many years of work that has gone into this school. And you'll see that come out in 3 short videos that we have here for you today. So we're going to jump right in.
I do want to pause, Dr. Loyat, and shout out Ashley Chashere, who's on here.
She is?
She had a baby and she's on.
She's as an attendee for her preschool will be coming next year.
Okay, well, Ashley and a new mama of for 4 days. So, and a future preschool parent. So awesome. Thanks, Ashley. And shout out to you and baby Hazel. All right, so we are going to jump right in. Oh, we have one person that says they can't see the panelist. So hopefully, possibly clicking at the bottom, Cynthia, if you have any tips and or tricks for that.
In order for it to work for me, I had to go to view and choose gallery. I don't know if that will help the attendee be able to see it.
Thank you. And we'll try to message you to see if it's working, that specific attendee. All right, so we introduced our panelists. Now we're going to get into our welcome video. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear it when I do press play.
Hello, preschool families. Welcome to MRH. Here at our preschool, we believe that all children are capable. We value their diverse individualities, abilities, and personal experiences. We honor the rights of all young children and recognize their unique potentials. Now let's go on a quick tour to support your child on their first day of school and get them familiar with the spaces and teachers. Your child's classroom here at the ECC will be referred to as a home space. This reminds us that each classroom serves as a home base for our children from which they can venture out from to explore and learn about the world around them while here at preschool. Atelier is a word that is used when speaking of studio-like spaces that are used to support the children when they are exploring the various expressive languages. You will notice the different materials in each space that are offered to children, such as play tools, quality paints and brushes, pastels, and natural materials. We do this to offer children the most genuine and unique experiences while here at our preschool. A piazza in Italy is defined as a public square or marketplace. Here at the ECC, we use the word to define our social meeting area. The piazza is where we eat, conduct sing-alongs, play, and build relationships with each other. We offer the children a variety of outdoor experiences throughout their day to provide them with opportunities to interact with and learn from nature. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this video supports you and your child in the upcoming school year. We are so excited for your child to join us here at the MRH ECC Preschool.
All right, and we're going to hear a similar voice now, and I will highlight her here. Explain a little more in a little more detail what the flow of the day will look like for your child at the ECC, specifically in the preschool. So I will ask Stacy to share with us more information about what the day will look like for your child.
Sure. So each classroom or home space might look a little different just based on the interests and strengths of the children in their classroom, but there are some experiences that you would expect to see across the board that your child would be able to experience at the preschool. So I wanted to kind of give you a little information about what that looks like to hopefully answer some questions you might have. And if it brings up questions for you, definitely ask us during the Q&A later. The first two you're going to see is classroom work and atelier work. We often use the word work in our preschool when we are talking about the many learning and play experiences that the children have throughout the day. Painting, exploring items in the room, building, using clay, and working on math and literacy skills are examples of these learning experiences. Another common learning experience you will see in all of our home spaces are morning meetings, which are also part of our work. Each home space meets daily to discuss important information, situations that arise, and to dialogue a bit about the projects that are happening in the home space. Outside time, as we said in the video, we offer a variety of experiences so that children can really learn from nature. Those are on site, maybe during our outside time. And then we also have a partnership with Litzinger Ecology Center. So often we are able to go and take trips there to explore nature even a little bit more. Lunch, I think I like to point out about lunch that parents often wonder about. It is included in your tuition. So your child will be given a lunch each day from the MRH cafeteria. And it's a pretty yummy lunch. The kids usually enjoy it. During normal non-COVID times, we are able to do that in a family style sort of a setting where children are able to pass with each other, kind of decide maybe how much they want or don't want of items. Right now, it looks a little different, but in our normal times, we do have a family style sort of a lunch offered. We do have a rest time each day. Not all of our children might sleep during that time, but it's a good time for them to rest their bodies from a busy day. It's a great time to kind of learn those relaxation and calming skills that can help us all in our lives, as we know. If they're not a sleeper, then they'll take a short rest and then they will maybe be able to get up and do some work in the afternoon. But we do have a rest time each day. And then at the end of the day, we do usually have a reflection meeting. Reflection is something that children and adults practice daily. We think together about our experiences and form questions and answers. These reflections help us build our knowledge for what else is possible. This often happens through dialogue, but it can happen in other ways. And we all know that reflective practice contributes to critical and higher level thinking skills. So it's something that we really like to encourage in our children. So as I said, this is kind of a flow of the day. It might be in a different order in each classroom just based on the children that they have, but these are some common experiences that you should expect your preschool child to have at our preschool.
Great. Thank you so much, Stacy, for giving us a run through of the day. And hopefully you saw Stacy. We've been pinning and adding spotlights. So hopefully that's working for everyone. All right. So now we want to get a little bit more into what makes the ECC preschool special and different, and that is through our Reggio-inspired work. So you'll hear a new group of voices that are here on the screen telling you more about Reggio and how it works at the ECC preschool.
The Reggio approach is a research-based early childhood approach to teaching and learning developed in Reggio Emilia, Italy, over 50 years ago. The Reggio approach now inspires early childhood educational systems of quality and excellence throughout the world. In these early childhood classrooms, teachers offer interesting and meaningful learning experiences that support children in developing high-level thinking skills. The work of schools in Reggio Emilia challenges the teachers at MRH ECC to consider the many capabilities of their young students. The study of the Reggio approach encourages all teachers to extend their own thinking about the many topics of study related to the development of young children. This method of early childhood education values listening, participation, collaboration, and depth of learning by children and adults, including both educators and family members.
Image of the child. A goal of our school is to honor the rights of all young children and recognize their unique potentials.
Documentation. Parents, children, and visitors can often find visible documentation hanging throughout our spaces to communicate what is happening concerning a study or a project.
100 languages. The 100 languages is a metaphor that educators inspired by the Reggio approach use to describe the many, many ways children think, demonstrate understanding, express themselves, and the ways they encounter others and ideas.
Okay, and our last piece before we get into next steps and a Q&A session with you all is hearing from our students themselves. So thank you to the team for putting this wonderful video together where you will get to hear voices and see faces of students this year at the ECC preschool.
I like the Atelier because they press play, plays it, and make things out of it. Build things and play and build things and pretend that they're dragons and things like that. I like to go environments and play in the tent. School because I like to draw. I like to play with the bugs in the environments room. My favorite part is playing with lots of friends on the park. I play with my friends. Question of the day. I like question of the day. I love the ECC. I love.
All right, so I am now going to highlight Cynthia Cobb here, our assistant principal, as a spotlight. So she can share next steps, and hopefully this will answer some of your questions, but then we also will open up a Q&A. So be thinking of your questions. We have many experts on this screen that can answer the different components of what you already learned about, whether it's the flow of the day and more questions, whether it's the way the building itself is set up, whether it's Reggio inspired work, or anything else that you may have a question for. So we'll let Cynthia now share registration and next steps, and we'll show you our website briefly, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Hi, everybody. So registration starts this Saturday at 8 a.m. That link, if you could click it, Dr. Oyette, will take you to directly to the preschool enrollment homepage. First off, there's information about the event tonight, but that'll shift around tomorrow, where the first thing you'll see will be information about preschool enrollment. And it goes through each of the steps that you need to take, the forms that are required in order to enroll into our preschool. There are 2 tutorial videos in case you wanted to engage with the registration process that way. The first step is completing that preschool registration Google form and selecting your preschool programming. And there's information about the program and the tuition information. A little bit farther down on the website is one of the most important things that typically can cause a delay is that child medical examination report. That's the only document that needs to actually be downloaded, printed, and taken to your child's pediatrician to have it filled out and sent back in to Nurse Michelle. That form is required to complete the registration process. But everything else on our website, the forms, when you click them, it's important to download them first, and then they become editable documents that are able to be saved to your desktop so that you can then email all of the forms to the preschool enrollment Dropbox. So if you download it, if you want to show an example, Dr. Oyette, click the download. And then once it opens, you are able to type directly on all of the documents. And you'll just save them and upload them to the preschool enrollment Dropbox. And if you have any questions, if you need any support, that contact information is there on the slide and also on the website to contact Ms. Peggy Russell, the preschool registrar.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Cobb. And last but not least, it's now time for you all to think about some questions that you may have that we can answer. What I'll go ahead and do is I will put out the Q&A. I'll read, and then if it's something related to enrollment, Ms. Cobb can answer, or if it's under one of your specialties, preschool teachers, if you don't mind unmuting to share. Our first one is, can you give some examples of lunch, and also is there snack or breakfast?
Sure, I can handle that one under kind of the flow part. We don't have breakfast. We do have a snack that is provided by the school during the day. So your child will get a snack here at school. The lunches this year look a little different just with COVID. We kind of have a rotating menu, but in a typical year, there's some favorite children food. So there's some grilled cheese at time. There are usually some fish shapes, but then there's also times that we have some more adventurous things. So it might be a chicken chili. Sometimes we have some stir fry kind of a thing. So there's a variety of things. There's always a fruit and a vegetable. All of the USDA sort of choices, there's always milk included, a fruit, a vegetable, usually a protein, and then some sort of a grain as well. So typically, even if a child doesn't love one of the items, there's typically at least a few things that they do want to try off of their lunch tray or their lunch plate.
Thank you, Ms. Stacy. The next question is the flow of the day just for the full day program, such as i.e. lunch and rest time? And maybe that would be to answer that, and then maybe have one of our half day folks talk about what the flow of a half day program would look like.
I can talk about that. It's pretty similar. The half day is only 3 hours. So we'll come in and do some classroom work and some atelier experiences. And then usually we'll have a meeting and then outdoor time. And then we come back together for that reflection, maybe sing some songs or read a story. So it's pretty similar, just a little bit shorter.
Thank you. And just to clarify, the flow of the day that Stacy described during the presentation is for the full day students. If I am waiting on something like a birth certificate, can I still enroll and submit the birth certificate later?
I would say submit all of the documentation that you have to get as far along in the process, and just stay in close contact with Peggy Russell. And she'll let you know if the enrollment can be held depending on the timeline to get that documentation.
Next up, how long is outside time and at what temperatures do you go out?
It just kind of varies for those half day programs. And they do, just to clarify, they wouldn't have lunch and rest time for those half day programs, but they might go out for a little bit of a shorter time. For our full day programs, it's usually around an hour at least a day. If there's some work that we're doing on a project that might go outside, it might be a little longer. Sometimes we'll go for a neighborhood walk, things like that. So that might add to that outside time. We do not go outside if it is below 22 with wind chill. If it's close to that, we would probably just do a short time outside and then come back in. So we wouldn't definitely go out for that full time if it's extremely cold weather. And then for extremely hot weather, same sort of thing. If there's a heat advisory or something like that, then we wouldn't go in. On those days, we do have a multi-purpose room, which is kind of like a large gym space. And so to make sure we still get that gross motor play, we would be utilizing that room on those days where it's too cold, too hot, or rainy, snowy, things like that. We would utilize that space to make sure they still get their gross motor time. Hopefully that answers that question.
Also, we do ask for appropriate outerwear, like gloves, hats, warm coats, things like that to keep kids warm when we do go outside, because we do think it's important to get outside and breathe some fresh air and have some fun.
Yeah, I will definitely say this team loves to get outside. So the more they can spend outside, the better, and definitely going along with that Reggio inspired philosophy as well. Next up, we have, will the preschool registration Google form be available before Saturday, or is that the form that opens up at 8 a.m.?
That is the form that opens up at 8 a.m.
That is the form that kind of locks in your spot too when that form is filled out. So that's why it doesn't go live until 8, because once it's submitted, that will timestamp your response. If your child turns 3 after the fall semester begins, can they start once they are 3, or do they have to wait until the next year?
They start once they turn 3.
And that may be a specific question for that parent or others that can reach out to Peggy for what that could look like for you. But that is the answer. All right, next up we have, do you offer preschool or Discover Club over the summer? So the answer, sorry, I can answer that. The answer is no, we don't. However, because you brought up Discover Club, I would like to ask Betty Pearson, our Discover Club supervisor, to share anything about Discover Club at this time.
So when you go to register for preschool, there should also be a place that you could specify if you need morning or after Discover Club. And then probably, well, closer to June is when we have the entire ECC online registration for Discover Club.
And Miss Betty, can you share with us what the before and after school care hours are currently?
Sure. The before care is from 6:30 to 8 o'clock a.m. And the afternoon care is approximately 2:40, 2:45 until 6 o'clock.
Thank you. How many enrollment spots are open, and do kids who are 5 days a week have priority?
So each classroom has a mix of 5, 3, and 2 days. The exact number of spots that are open, I will have to take down your information and have Miss Peggy give you a phone call. I don't know the number right off the top of my head, but each classroom has a mix of 5, 3, or 2 days.
This is a question that I know I brought up because of how I answered something, but it's in the chat. So is all the other information needed to lock in space, or so is all the other information needed to lock in your space, or is it technically locked in once the Google form is completed?
The Google form is the start. Your space, and there's a week's timeline that we give you to get all of the documentation in. If there's going to be a hardship where you need a little bit longer, please reach out to Miss Peggy. But once all of that documentation is in, then your space is solidified in the preschool program.
I am scrolling through. She said, thank you so much. I'm scrolling through just to see if we have any final questions. And it looks as if all were answered. Any final thoughts from any of our panelists? All right, hearing or seeing none, we have a final comment that says, thank you all so much. This is very helpful. So if you do know other families, our attendees that weren't able to make it tonight, let them know. We will post this on our website so that they can view it and reach out to us with any questions. And we have the big date of February 26th at 8 a.m. to begin that enrollment. And we cannot wait to meet your little ones and have them join us in our preschool program. Thank you so much to our attendees tonight for jumping on an evening call, and special shout out to all of our preschool teachers for all of their hard work each and every day to provide such a great program for our students, as well as for being here tonight. So thank you so much, everyone. Please reach out if you have any questions, and we're looking forward to seeing your names roll through starting on Saturday, the 26th. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.